Hello, my name is Matthew, and there's a Karamazov brothers read-along going on BookTube right now, and I'm not participating in it. I'm just very excited to watch the videos, and I wanted to bring it to your attention in case you haven't heard about it or didn't know. Um, and it's a great group of other booktubers, booktube colleagues. It's Christy Lewis, Dostoevsky in Space, the Codex Cantina, Uno and Crypto, Victoria, a musical bookworm, and Peg from the History Shelf. And they've all gotten together to read the Karamazov brothers. I had my own little read along at the end of last year, and it was very casual. I made a bunch of videos, um, really just talking about my personal reading of the book. And the read along that they're doing just seems to be so much more um, adventurous and bigger in scale. Each one of them brings so much insight and a different perspective into the book, and they're having these live stream conversations, which uh, is my favorite part of reading. Is actually being able to um, talk to people about the book that we're reading, and that's what they're doing. Yesterday was such a great booktube uh, viewing day. Around the around afternoon, I watched the Codex Cantina. They made this fabulous video. It's called "Before You Read the Brothers Karamazov," and they had this intro that's totally different than uh, what I have seen from their channel. That they're a great channel. It's one of my favorite channels to watch. It's Uno and Crypto having a casual but controlled conversation. They do a lot of short stories, a lot of Russians, a lot of things that I'm interested in, and they um, really bring out a lot out of these stories and the things that they think about. Um, but their video, before you read the Brothers Karamazov, was great and a really good introduction into the book if you haven't read it. But I've read it a few times and it's still great. If um, if you haven't read it, or if you have, I can highly recommend that and all of their other videos and anything else they're going to do on the Brothers Karamazov. And then last night they had a scheduled live stream where it was uh, uh, Christie and Uno and Crypto, Victoria and Peg, and I think it was an hour long, um, and I just loved it. Listening to them all to talk about the book, having different ways of considering the novel. It's an intro video, so they make jokes that there's no spoilers. I wanted to bring all of this to your attention because um, maybe you still want to read the Karamazov brothers, or um, if you're like me and you've read it and you love the book, this is such a great opportunity to hear a bunch of smart, interesting people uh, just talk and have a great conversation. Victoria in the live stream last night had this really interesting comparison. Um, she knows a lot about like musical history, and she talked about the parallels between Dostoevsky's art as a novelist and the music in Russia at the time, and how it was separated from religious music and secular music, and how there was this divide, and Tchaikovsky uh, broke that divide and took kind of that really high, elevated, holy music and was able to um, reconfigure it in a way uh, for the general public. something like that. It was really interesting, and made the comparison with Dostoevsky taking high art and making it available for the general reading public. I'm just really excited to watch all of these videos, and I just really thought it was worth mentioning. So I'm going to leave links to everybody's channel, um, the videos, the Codex Cantina's video, and the live stream video. I just um, can't wait to watch all of this. It's my favorite book. I love hearing people talk about it, especially when they're smart, funny, interesting, all of those things. And it's a lot of my favorite booktubers. And then something totally unrelated, but just a new channel that a new channel to me. I just recently found it. It was recommended to me through the algorithm. And it's a woman living in Japan. I couldn't get her name. Her channel is Tokyo Chemist. Tokyo Chemist. And the first video that I watched, apparently she's lived all over the world, travels around, and was moving to Japan, and wanted to bring a set amount of books. And she had lived in Japan for a year, so it was her anniversary. And the video that she made was going back and looking at the books that she had brought, and talking about whether or not she had read them, what her thoughts on the books are, and the books that she hadn't read. And I love the premise. It was the premise alone, the idea of moving to another country and having to decide what are the books you're going to bring, has a particular interest for me. But the best part about finding these channels and meeting people on these videos, book-related videos, is finding somebody that has similar interests or similar sensibilities, but talks about a whole bunch of books that I've never heard of, or I've heard of, or I haven't read. And she is just a natural on camera, very well spoken, has a lot of interesting things to say, has the kind of format that I prefer, just sitting in front of a camera and sharing your thoughts. I've watched a few more of her videos I've been going through, just because it's so interesting. And I'll leave a link to her channel as well. It's Tokyo Chemist. So it's a really big, exciting, elaborate, well-organized Karamazov Brothers read-along. There's a schedule and dates for live streams, and it's a whole thing. With Christy Lewis, DostoevskyINSpace, the Codex Cantina, Victoria, a musical bookworm, and Peg from the History Shelf, and a new channel, Tokyo Chemist. So sort of shout-outs, read-along, shout-outs, channel recommendations. I'm just very excited about this, and if you're interested, it's really worth checking out. So thank you. Leave a comment if you would like, and take care.